You see a lot of people on YouTube or TikTok talk about how they built a real app with AI, or maybe they'll be giving you some kind of like tutorial on how to like vibe code an app using AI. You just get kind of confused. You don't really know what's going on. So I built an app without following anyone and just using AI and my brain to come up with something. And I was able to really understand it to like the depths of it without really knowing much. So I'm gonna be giving you guys like a small demo of what I built. So what I've built is a finance tracker. It is a very simple app on the outside. The coding takes a bit of work to understand, but yeah, let me just show you guys how it works. So you can like create an account, khan@gmail.com, right? And then put in a password. And then when you create an account, it takes you to the dashboard. So on the dashboard, you have a way to add your income. So let's say you made some money, and I'll just write money, and then yeah, you see my $100. Okay, that gets added to your total balance, and then you can add like another transaction. Let's say expense, you like spend like some money on food. Let's say you add like McDonald's or something. 20 save expense, and it automatically like minuses that expense from your total balance. The other features that I have in this are, well, you can see like all your transactions here, transactions by month, by income and expense. It's all sorted. Yeah, there's also like a stats thing. You can see like your overall balance, total income, total expenses, income versus expenses. Shows the highest single expense. So in this case, we only have one expense, so it obviously shows that. If you add another one, it'll show something else. And yeah, the category is like food. So that's all the features I have. In the settings, you can also change um, the currency to dirhams, AED, the country that I'm in right now. So that's just like it converts the dollars into dirhams by itself. So I think $100 in dirhams is like 367.25. That's pretty much it. And I think you can even log out, and let's see. Yeah, you log out, it takes you to this page, and then you can sign in again. And what do you need to know to get started? Nothing. It's good that if you know a little bit of basic programming, like a basic level of Python, basic level of Java or something like that. That is what I knew. My prior knowledge was like basic Python, basic Java, nothing too complex. Like with my basic knowledge, I could not build any of this. Like the courses I took in university so far, like my first year of university, foundation programming, object-oriented programming, and then data structure algorithms. This is nothing used to make this app. I would say like maybe some concepts, but most of the things that I learned while making this were completely new to me. Yeah, and I was able to easily understand everything. You just have to spend some time on it, talk to AI. I feel like that is better than watching tutorials, because I feel like tutorials just eat up so much time and you're not even guaranteed to understand something. Whereas with AI, you can keep on talking to it, and eventually you'll understand. That's what I did, and that's what I prefer. Okay, the tools that I used, and you should too, is Cursor AI with Claude, and you can have any AI on the side. You can have any AI on the side just for like small questions, random questions that will pop up, like how do I actually start the app in the terminal, because these are things that I didn't know prior to building. So I was like a complete beginner. I did not know how to use a terminal or anything. I'll go over the code and everything. I won't go too much in depth, but I'll run you guys over like the basics of full stack development, the things that AI taught me basically. So the first step is the front end, the second step is back end, and the third is the database. So the front end is basically the screens that the users see. I had to also kind of understand what it was in depth. I knew what front end back end meant, but I didn't know how it was made and how it was connected and everything. I did not know what frameworks were in. Like this screen you see right here, this is like the front end. And to make the front end, there's a framework. All of these things listed above here, they are frameworks. React Native is a framework which can build one app, and you can use that app on multiple platforms. So basically, what that means is you'll have to write one code for an app to be used on Android, iOS, and on the web. What Expo is like a software where you can see what you're developing in real time. If I can, I'll provide like a screenshot of Expo. And yeah, Expo just makes development way more easier than it would be without being able to see the screen. The next step is backend. So the backend I used Fast API, which is like a Python framework for APIs. In the backend, you apply like all your rules, if statements and everything. And you also use the backend to interact with your database, where you can read and write data from it. And for the database, I used PostgreSQL, which is a relational database with Docker. So what Docker is basically, Docker runs the database, and so it makes a container and makes the database easy to run anywhere. These are things you have to look into by yourself while you're making it to better understand. I'm not good at explaining this because I've only done this once, okay? And yeah, stores the data and retains it if you restart. Yeah, then this is very important. So you have to understand the flow of data. So the user first looks at the front end, which is this. When you click on add, and let's say you add something, let's say you got a car and you paid for like 200 for like an Uber or something. So you pay 200 for like an Uber or something. From the front end, it goes into the back end. The back end sees that it's an expense and it changes it in the database. From there, it sends it to the back end again to confirm it, and then to the front end, and then you see it. So that is very important to understand. So the languages that I used were TypeScript in the front end, Python in the back end, and SQL for the database. But the thing is, you don't really need to know SQL because I feel like you can do it through Python. And if you go back in Cursor, I'll run you guys through what it looks like. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. The app is where you have all your screens and everything. So this is basically when you click the add button, and these are all the screens that you see on add. Everything in TSX is basically the front end, the UI. All of this is in TypeScript, React Native. These are some functions, calculate income, calculate expense, and this is like a transaction row. And so you have all of these different screens over here in React Native and TypeScript. That goes under apps. Generate. Then you have so backend is completely in Python. As you can see, create, read, update, delete. That's what CRUD stands for. I learned that as well. Get user by email. All of this is accessing the database in the Docker container through Python, and you don't really need to know any SQL when you're doing this. You just gotta understand how it works, and that's what I've done. I know a little bit of SQL for this project. I did not use any. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This helps you connect the backend to the Docker, and I could go through every line, but I feel like the video would be too long, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. So the total time I would say to build and understand everything would be 1 to 2 weeks. That is what I spent, but keep in mind I didn't know a basic level of Python, a basic level of Java, and I did a little bit of SQL in school a very long time ago, and a little bit of HTML in school a very long time ago. So it was very simple for me to catch on to TypeScript. You should be able to understand everything, understand to a decent level where you can put it on your resume. And I feel like at the end of the day, I think that's what matters the most.